is slow cooker season, my favorite season, so today I will be sharing 6 new easy dump and go slow cooker recipes with you. These recipes will help you out so much this fall and winter. Let's get to my kitchen now and let's go get to cooking. This is the only pot roast recipe you will ever need. I've been making it like this for years and it is out of this world good. On my cutting board right here, I just peeled and I cut up 5 russet potatoes into smaller pieces. I also cut up a yellow onion into smaller pieces as well. Now over to my slow cooker, I'm adding in a large chuck roast, and around that chuck roast, I'm just going to place the onions and the potatoes. I do want to let you know, these are the vegetables that my family likes for pot roast, but you could use any veggies that you like. Then I placed a pound of baby carrots around the roast. I'm going to season this up now. So I'm first seasoning this with a packet of zesty Italian seasoning mix. Next, I'm going to sprinkle a packet of brown gravy mix over the top. I'm using the reduced sodium one, but you could use the regular one as well. The last thing I'm adding is a tablespoon of ranch seasoning over the top, and then I'm going to pour a cup and a half of beef broth over that. Cook this on low for 8 hours or until your roast is perfectly tender. This pot roast is seriously phenomenal. That meat is like buttery soft. It just falls apart. And the potatoes and the carrots are cooked perfectly. They're not too soft, I promise. They really are wonderful. My entire family loves this roast. And like I said, I've been making it like this for years and I won't make it another way. This chicken noodle pasta is so perfect for this time of year. Also, it is so easy to make and it has simple ingredients that you might already have on hand. So into my slow cooker, I added 3 large chicken breasts. Over the chicken breasts, I'm going to be adding 2 10-ounce cans of cream of chicken soup, or you could use any cream of soup that you like. Now to season this up, I'm using a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of pepper, a teaspoon of paprika. I know there's going to be quite a lot of seasonings, but this is super good. I'm also adding in a teaspoon of Italian seasoning, dried basil, onion powder, and garlic powder. The very last thing I added in is 3 3/4 cup of chicken broth. I put the lid on top and I cooked this on low for about 6 to 7 hours. After the cooking time was up and the chicken was cooked through, I removed it to a plate and I just shredded the chicken up with my meat masher. You could shred up your chicken with 2 forks or even like 1 fork. Your chicken will just be super tender and easy to shred. I added it back into my slow cooker. Now I'm going to add in my uncooked egg noodles, and I'm using about 9 ounces of those egg noodles. Just give this a stir and cook this on high for about 35 more minutes or until the egg noodles are nice and tender, and then you could serve this up. Here's what my plate of food looks like. You might be thinking this probably won't be super flavorful, but I promise this is extremely flavorful. Those noodles soak up all of the flavoring and the juices in the slow cooker. This is just a wonderful meal. I did serve this alongside of a side salad, and I used this Primal Kitchen ranch dressing for the dressing, and I thought it was pretty good. I love lasagna soup at this time of year, so that is what we are making now. Over to the pan on my stove, I'm adding in a pound of Italian sausage. Break the sausage up and cook it through. Right now, I'm breaking my sausage up with my meat chopper, and now that my sausage is cooked through, I did notice some extra grease in my pan, so I'm just removing any excess grease from my pan now. My mom taught me this paper towel trick when I was younger, and it works pretty well to remove some excess grease. Now with my cooked sausage, I'm just going to add it right into my slow cooker. After I added my sausage into my slow cooker, I'm going to add in a tablespoon of minced garlic, along with 4.5 cups of beef broth, or you could use veggie broth or chicken broth. Next, add in 28 ounces of crushed tomatoes, along with 24 ounces of marinara sauce. You could use any type of marinara sauce you have on hand or that you like. For the seasonings, I'm keeping it simple with a teaspoon of pepper, 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning, and I'm going to give this a stir. Put the lid on top and cook this on low for about 6 to 7 hours. Now that my cooking time is up, I am just going to add in about 6 uncooked lasagna noodles, and you do want to break those noodles up into smaller pieces just like this. And I do want to let you know, if you are in my meal plan, get excited because October's plan, I added an exclusive video for you guys. It is 10 of my best slow cooker tips, so just get excited if you're in my meal plan. I can't wait for you guys to see October's plan. I'm going to let this cook on high for about 40 minutes to cook the noodles. While that was cooking away, I just started on the cheese mixture now. So into this bowl, I tossed in a cup of cottage cheese along with a half a cup of mozzarella cheese and a half a cup of Parmesan cheese. I gave this a really good stir, and there you go. This is your cheesy mixture for your lasagna. But now that my lasagna noodles are tender, I just added this cheesy mixture in, and I'm going to give this a good stir to melt the cheese, and then you could serve it up. I absolutely love lasagna soup so much. This soup is so rich, cheesy, and hearty. It is amazing. There is something I do want to warn you guys about. Every slow cooker does cook differently, so just make sure you test your lasagna noodles before you add in the cheese mixture to make sure they are nice and tender and not chewy in the middle. This one is for all of my friends looking for a meatless meal. You are going to love this enchilada orzo. To my slow cooker, I'm spraying it with non-stick spray just for easy cleanup in the end. Then I added in a 4-ounce can of diced green chilies, or you could use a can of jalapenos, whatever you prefer. Next, I added in a 15-ounce can of drained and rinsed black beans, along with a 10-ounce can of enchilada sauce. I'm using red enchilada sauce. Next, 1 can of petite diced tomatoes, followed by a drained can of corn. Then I added in 3/4 a cup of chicken broth, or you could use veggie broth. The last thing I added in was 4 tablespoons of cubed cream cheese. I'm going to give this a stir. I'll put the lid on top and cook this on low for about 7 to 8 hours. Now that the cooking time is up and my house is just smelling so good, I gave this another stir to melt down the cream cheese and incorporate it in. Now I'm going to add in 1 cup of uncooked orzo. Just stir that orzo in and make sure it is covered in the sauce. Let this cook on high for about 20 to 30 minutes to cook the orzo. You can top yours with any type of taco toppings or enchilada toppings you enjoy. I only had some sour cream and lime on hand, so that's what I topped mine with. But this is so flavorful. You really need to try it. I promise you're going to like it. Now we're making my favorite slow cooker taco soup recipe of all time. To the pan on my stove, I'm adding in a pound of ground beef, or you could use any ground meat or ground meat substitute that you like, for example, turkey or chicken, but I'm just breaking my ground beef up and I cooked it through. Over to my slow cooker, I was kind of having a busy day, so I wanted to use a slow cooker liner just to make cleanup extra easy, so I'm just lining my slow cooker with one of these. Now I'm going to add in the cooked ground beef that we just cooked up on the stove. You're also going to want to add in 1 undrained can of pinto beans, along with an undrained can of corn, then 4 ounces of diced green chilies. If you're wondering what green chilies taste like, they're just flavorful. They're not super spicy at all. Then I'm going to add in a can of kidney beans, along with a can of petite diced tomatoes and rotel. For the seasonings, this is so simple but really delicious. It's just 2 tablespoons of ranch seasoning and 2 tablespoons of taco seasoning. Give this a really good stir and let this cook on low for about 6 to 7 hours. Top your soup with anything that you love. I topped mine with shredded cheese and sour cream. Taco soup is probably one of my husband Will's favorite soups just because it is so hearty and delicious. Also, he just loves the leftovers for lunch the next day because they are extra flavorful the next day, he always tells me. Now we're making this creamy Ritz chicken, so into this bowl right here, I'm going to add 1 can of cream of chicken soup, just add it right in there. Next, I'm adding in 3/4 cup of sour cream, and then I'm going to add my seasonings in. For the seasonings, I'm using a teaspoon of pepper, a teaspoon of paprika, and a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. I'm not using any salt because there's plenty of salt in the other ingredients in this meal, for example, the cream of soup. So I gave this a really good whisk, and now I'm going to set this to the side. I have a small bowl right here. I'm going to set the bowl to the side, and now I have 2 small sleeves of Ritz crackers, and I'm going to crush these crackers into smaller pieces just like this. I have 4 tablespoons of melted butter here. I just added it into my small bowl. I'm also going to be adding the crushed Ritz crackers into that bowl. I'm going to give this a really good stir to coat the crackers in the butter mixture now. Now that my crackers are well coated, over to my slow cooker, I'm going to add in 3 chicken breasts. Just toss your chicken breasts right in there. Add the creamy mixture that we made up earlier right on top of the chicken breasts and spread it out to the best of your ability. You want it mainly on the chicken. Then you are going to sprinkle the butter crackers over the top of the creamy mixture. You don't want to mix anything together. You want to make sure the crackers stay on top. And then I did season the crackers with a dash of pepper, paprika, then 1 tablespoon of ranch seasoning. I put the lid on top, and this cooked on low for about 6 to 7 hours, or until my chicken was cooked through. This Ritz chicken is so good over a bed of rice because the sauce with the chicken kind of goes into the rice and gives the rice a ton of flavor. This chicken is super good. I did serve this alongside of green beans. I have so many more slow cooker videos like this on my channel, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next one. I'll see you there. Bye for now.